Hello everyone and welcome to my team reveal for BlackBox. Obviously there's a little bit of time to go before the deadline, so this is subject to change, but I'm going to talk you through how my team is looking at the moment because it's gone through a few changes in the last couple of days and I'm actually quite happy with those changes as well. So let's get straight into it, and remember, if you like this or you like any of the stuff we do, make sure to like and subscribe because it really helps us, so thank you very much. So first off then, in terms of goalkeepers, I have got Sells in goal. 13 clean sheets last year. No massive reason to believe that they're not going to carry on being a good defensive unit this season, them being Nottingham Forest. Nuno, who is their manager, even came out and said, yeah, I do look to keep clean sheets first, and that's how we win games. So fingers crossed, Sells carries on being just as effective as he was last year. He could also be Sanchez. At the moment, I can't put Sanchez in because I have 3 Chelsea elsewhere. But as soon as Goo gets his move to Sunderland made official on the app, then I can put Sanchez in if I want to. I think I'd probably stay with Sells though, because I do quite like having a Forest defensive asset in my team. Next up is Christian Romero. I quite like Spurs' fixtures to start with. They've obviously got Burnley at home, which is their, the big one there. But they've also got Bournemouth at home. They've got West Ham away. It's quite nice up until game week 6, as long as you ignore game week 2, which is, of course, Man City away. The reason I picked Romero and I've paid the extra 0.5 instead of Van de Ven is that Romero is so much better in terms of CBIT, and he's also so much better in terms of when he is attacking set pieces. Van de Ven can't really head the ball. Romero is an absolute beast for it. Romero's going to be made captain because Son is leaving, and I think that maybe changes his maturity a bit and stops him getting all the yellow cards and red cards that he is very well known for. But I think he's worth the extra 0.5 million over Van de Ven. Is he worth upgrading again to get Porro in? Could be, but trying to find that extra 0.5 is going to be quite tough. So at the moment, I've got Christian Romero and I'm quite happy having him. I'm also happy having another player that isn't 4.5 at the back because I was a little bit hesitant doing that. So I'm happy to have one at 5. Next up is Virgil van Dijk. We've spoken about him a lot on BlackBox and he is the poster boy of CBIT for us at the moment. With the fact that he's nailed, plays every single minute, their fixtures are fairly kind, although in game week 2 and 3 it gets a little bit tricky with Newcastle and Arsenal, but in game weeks 1, 4, 5 and 6 couldn't get much better. I think he's completely nailed on for me and I'll be starting the season. I'm hoping for 2 extra points from him, and you never know, he might even get you the odd goal in the first 6 weeks. So fingers crossed for that, but he is completely nailed in the back of my team unless there is an injury. There could be said that you could go for someone like Kirkes instead. I just feel like Virgil van Dijk having that nailedness for those first 6 weeks makes me go towards him, especially with the introduction of CBIT, which he absolutely loves as well. Next up is somebody very exciting, and that is Diouf at West Ham. They've only just signed him, young lad. He's still only 20 at the moment. I think he's going to be absolutely brilliant this season. He looks like a Munoz regen. If you have a look at his heat maps, he gets forward so much. He is basically a left mid playing left wing back for West Ham. He got 7 goals and 2 assists last year, which is brilliant for somebody that we're looking at getting into our teams. A lot of people have got Wan-Bissaka. I don't think Wan-Bissaka is going to be getting us forward as much as Diouf is at all. And they're Wan-Bissaka is a little bit better for CBIT, but Diouf is just a little bit less, but I think he's going to counteract that with the fact he gets forward so much. So if you watch any of the pre-season games, he has been bombing forward and he's looked really exciting. So he's my little differential at the back there and I really quite like him. Also at the back, I've got Dorgu at the moment. I'm not loving that. He could be any 4.5 million defender. I don't have Konsa because I've got 3 Villa elsewhere. So I don't have Konsa, so I've got Dorgu in there at the moment. He could be another 4.5 defender. I've toyed with even having Van de Ven there, but I don't think I fancy the double up there with Spurs. But Dorgu's also quite exciting. Gets forward a lot. He's done well in pre-season. He looks exciting. He doesn't have the end product because he's very raw at the moment, but this could be a season. He kicks on. He's got Cunha and Bruno, maybe Sesko to look to as well. So I think he could be anybody, but I don't hate having him in there. Esteves at the back as well. 4.4 million defender who's nailed. Yes, he's playing for Burnley. They kept, only conceded 16 goals last year. A lot of that was probably to do with Trafford, so that could regress obviously this year. Well, it will regress this year. But 4 million defender, I'm more than happy with that, the fact he's nailed. On to midfield, Mo Salah. I've had no hesitation whatsoever in terms of picking him instead of Haaland. I've got no interest in picking both of them at the moment, although I'm sure I'll do a draft at some point. But I'm very, very happy having Mo Salah as my captain. He will be my captain in game weeks 1 against, who they got game week 1? They got Bournemouth, haven't they, on the Friday night? He'll be my captain in game week 4 against Burnley. He'll be my captain in game week 5 against Everton. He'll be my captain in game week 6 against Crystal Palace, most likely. And as soon as you start looking at it like that, you're thinking, I'm not just paying 14.5 million for that player. I'm paying for him to be my captain in 4 of the first 6 game weeks. We will see whether going into this new year with a new contract that he starts to dip a little bit, because sometimes he does with new contracts, but there's no way I'm starting without him. Yes, Haaland started the season incredibly last season, 7 goals in his first 3 games, but then he ruined an awful lot of people's seasons after that, and Salah destroyed a lot of seasons because of how well he did. There's no way I'm not starting with Salah, and there's also no way I'm watching that Friday night game without Salah captain in my team either. So he's definitely in my team as captain as well. And as I've said, 4 of the first 6 weeks, he'll probably be my captain. Next up is Palmer, who's the other person that's in my captaincy debate. He's probably going to be my captain in game weeks 2 and 3 when they have West Ham and Fulham at home. Palmer looked absolutely brilliant in the Club World Cup. It's interesting with the Club World Cup because before that, he hadn't scored an open play goal for a very long time. And then he showed everybody exactly what he can do in the Club World Cup, kind of got his confidence back a bit. I think having Pedro in front of him is going to help an awful lot because he had Jackson there. And Jackson just couldn't convert chances. Palmer's going to be making now for Pedro, and I think that's really going to help him. He's obviously on penalties. He, as I've said, is going to be my captain in 2 and 3 unless I get an Arsenal player in game week 2 when they've got Leeds, but I doubt that will happen, but we will see. So absolutely nailed at my team. He's one of the only players in my team I haven't touched. I literally put him in day 1 and he stayed there the whole time. Next up is Morgan Rogers. Morgan Rogers, 37 starts last year. Even with Champions League, he was absolutely nailed on. And the worst time people had with Rodgers last year was when they benched him. Because he was cheap. People were happy to bench him, even in tougher fixtures. Remember one against City, he got a goal and assist. He would play every single game and he looks a threat in every single game. He's only 7 million. He got 8 goals, 10 assists last year. You can't complain about that, can you? And if you look at their fixtures, Newcastle, Brentford, Crystal Palace, Everton, Sunderland, Fulham to start the season. I genuinely think he's the best 7 million player in the game, and I think you've got to have him under consideration. 7 million, he's been in my team. As soon as I put him in, I don't want to get rid of him. So 7 million for Rodgers, I think, is an absolute steal. If he can get 8 goals and 10 assists again, he's going to be one of the bargains of the season. Next up is Florian Wirtz. Going from someone we know very well in Rodgers and how well he did last year, we now don't know how Wirtz is going to do, but we know that he is a generational talent coming through from Bayer Leverkusen. Very, very shocked that this even happened. But for 8.5 million, with Liverpool as they are, strengthening as they are, and how he does for Germany and for Bayer Leverkusen last season as well, I think you've got to go for Wirtz. I don't want to start the season without him, and I think he is a perfect third Liverpool player to own, as well as Salah and Virgil. Now, I think he could have come in way more expensive. I think he could have been 9.5 personally. I think we're going to probably be laughing at that price in a couple of weeks' time. But for 8.5 million, I don't see why you wouldn't do it. I don't see why you wouldn't go for Wirtz. Bournemouth at home, first game of the season, Friday night. I think people are going to be looking at him going, oh my goodness. There is a slight worry for me that he could be the person that assists the assister. But even last year, 10 goals, 12 assists in the Bundesliga. He's got it in him, hasn't he? We all know how good he is. So, yeah, there was no way I wasn't going to start with him. I don't think he's going to be another Werner like at Chelsea. I think he's going to show everybody exactly what he can do in the Premier League. Next up, another little fruity one, and this is my second Villa player, and that is Marlon. He's only 5.5 million. He has done very, very well pre-season. He's played up top in one of the games, but he's mainly played right mid or right wing. They don't have a lot of options, Villa, in terms of up top. Watkins looks like he's likely to stay, especially if Sesko goes to United, which is being mooted. I think Marlon is a really good shout to start the season, especially at 5.5. I don't think there's much risk going for him. Obviously, if he doesn't play, that's not great. But if he doesn't start, he's going to be coming on for the last 20, 25 minutes. But I don't see a world in which he doesn't start unless Villa make some big signings up top anytime soon. He's had 1 goal and 3 assists in pre-season. I think he's probably the best 6 million under option to go for, unless you're going for a defensive mid that's going to get you DEFCON points. It's one of those ones where people are going to be debating this in the pre-season. Do I go for one of those defensive mids like a Caicedo at 5.5? More often than not, he's going to be getting you 2 extra points, plus maybe an extra point for clean sheet. So all of a sudden, Caicedo's getting you 5 points. Marlon needs to get something because he's not going to be getting you those CBIT points. So what do you do? I think to start the season and to see whether it goes big, I'm going to start with Marlon and hope he goes crazy for the first couple of weeks. Price goes up and it's just one of those flash in the pan things. If he doesn't work, I just move him on. And we'll see what happens in terms of whether I do an early wildcard. I'm not planning on it, but Marlon is one of those players where you could move to another defensive mid if you want to and try and get those extra points. But I feel like he's a nice little gamble to start with. So he's in there at the moment. Then up top, I've got 2 Chelsea players. That's because one of them's going to be moving, obviously. I've got Pedro, most owned player in the game, I think, at the moment, at around 60%. I don't know whether he can justify being owned by that many people, but he's finally that player that can finish for Chelsea. He's not a emphatic finisher. He's not Ruud van Nistelrooy up top, but he's a lot better than Nicholas Jackson. And if Palmer is rested at any point, it's going to be Pedro getting the penalties. So I think Pedro is a good shout to start with. Chelsea's fixtures are beautiful. Crystal Palace, West Ham, Fulham, Brentford, Man United, Brighton. You can see them scoring in all those games. And if Pedro does get as many minutes as we're hoping, probably between 60 and 70 in most games, then he's going to be, you would have thought, getting attacking returns in those fixtures. I think it's justified that he is so highly owned. Maybe not 60%, but I think between 40 and 50 makes a lot of sense for a starting striker at Chelsea, 7.5 million, on pens if Palmer isn't there. I think that's fine. And for 7.5 million, you can basically go to most other strikers because we do have a lot of expensive strikers, but we also have a lot that is 7.5 and under. So I think it's a good price point to have, and I'm happy to have him in my team. Speaking of happy, incredibly happy to have Watkins in my team as well. I think with those fixtures, I know this means I've got the triple up of Villa, but I don't mind it. I think if Villa start really, really well, and with their fixtures, Newcastle, Brentford, Crystal Palace, Everton, Sunderland, Fulham, if they do start well, I've got 3 of their players. So I am laughing if it goes well. If it doesn't, I'm obviously not laughing, but I am laughing if it's going well. So I'm happy to have Watkins. I think Watkins is going to be on penalties. I don't think it will be Tielemans. So I think Watkins will be on penalties with the nice fixtures they've got. And he's a great player for them anyway. The other reason I like him, and it's not to do with stats, is because I wanted his price bracket in my team. So I wanted that 9 million player. And yes, it is because I'm thinking of Gyökeres. Because if he was definitely going to be starting game week 1, Gyökeres, I think I'd probably go for him. But because there's some doubt and about the fact that maybe Havertz will start that game and Gyökeres will only get maybe 20 minutes, I'm thinking you start with Watkins, you see where the land is laying with Gyökeres, and then you go from there. I can then easily move to him. Unless the really unlikely thing that happens is Gyökeres comes on for 20 minutes or plays the whole game, scores 2 goals, goes up in price, then obviously I can't get to him. But I think just having that price point there is really, really important. And the other thing is Watkins could start absolutely amazingly. First 6 game weeks, got the fixtures there. He could be the one going up in price. And then I could move to Gyökeres in, I think it's around game week 8, 9, which looks quite nice for Gyökeres. And it's where Villa's fixtures turn as well. So I am very happy having the Villa triple up. I don't think many people will. I think a lot of people will have an Anderson. I think people will have other players in there, especially those defensive midfielders as well. I'm quite happy having that kind of boom or bust triple up there. I know the others are quite template, so Wirtz, Palmer, Salah and Pedro are quite template, but having Rodgers, Marlon and Watkins all together, I actually really like. So I'm quite sold on this at the moment, but a week and a half is a long time in football, so we'll see what happens before the deadline. I should also say as well, I've got Mark Gu up top there, who has moved to Sunderland, but we're just waiting for that to transfer into FPL. 4.5 million. I don't expect him to be starting every game. I will say that now, and that is very, very important to say, because they've got other players there that are most likely going to play instead and are better options that are in that team already. But there's no other 4.5 million options that are going to be getting minutes. So I think he's a good option to start there. He takes up a Sunderland spot, which you're not going to be wanting loads of Sunderland spots. And once he moves, I can also think about whether I want Sanchez in goal instead of Sell. So that's always there for me as well. I think it will go to deadline which keeper I go with, but I do want that Forest representation in my back line. So we'll see how that goes. But there you go. This is my team at the moment. I hope you like it. If you've got any comments or anything you want to say about it, please leave it in the comments afterwards as well. And remember, please remember to drop us a like and subscribe, and also to follow us on Insta as well, which I will be seeing you over there too. So thank you so much, and we'll be seeing you soon. Bye-bye.